It's a great opportunity, not that we will lose jobs, jobs will change, but it's a great opportunity to create new jobs and volumes of jobs. The human input will still be there, experience will matter, but what will go away are the rote aspects of any job, but produce output which is understandable by the layperson to that field.
Okay, so that their jobs will be pretty much secured.
So I would say that curiosity, learning, the need to go close to data. So data is going to be very critical, whether it is AI or generative AI. So if you're trading in diamonds, please use blockchain to trace the path the diamond took before it made its way to your finger. Obviously, you don't want to use blockchain
Yeah.
to figure out where your bindi is coming from.
Welcome to Global Business Line, the international platform for innovation, leadership, and success. From our global magazine to podcasts, events, and prestigious awards, we bring you the stories and opportunities shaping the future of business. Tune in and enjoy with Kunal Guha.
This episode of the Global Business Line podcast is brought to you in association with Rich Webs, your one-stop solution for all IT needs.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Business Line. Today we have Dr. Gopichand with me, and he is an expert with the AI and entrepreneurship. So we will get some of the insights on it. So Gopichand sir, welcome to Global Business Line.
My pleasure to talk to you.
Sir, this is a period of generative AI, okay, and how you look at it, how much far this can take our lives.
Yeah. So I think if we are smart, everything that is out there needs to be redesigned, reinvented, re-engineered, and reproductized. So it's a great opportunity, not that we will lose jobs, jobs will change, but it's a great opportunity to create new jobs and volumes of jobs. The opportunity is such. We are using AI. First, I'll talk about AI. We are using AI in various fields, like in OTT broadcasting. For example, organizations which send VOD content, video on demand content, over the networks. They are today having to send HD content if the viewer has to view in HD. Of course, there is encode decode, but still, the beginning there is HD content. At the viewing end, there is HD content. We don't need that. You can send SD content. We will make it HD on the user device using AI. Right. So similarly, we are working in the wellness space, looking at AI to keep personal data personal on the edge, which is your wearable. We are working in automotive space, using an automotive as the edge to keep safety and use AI for that as a priority. We work in industry space, looking at making decisions right there on the factory floor. So these are all areas that AI has contributed. Now, generative AI, and what is the difference? So AI, in a traditional sense, can interpolate. Generative AI theoretically is producing something new. So anything which has images, anything which has text, anything which has language, anything which needs to combine decisions to give an output in an understandable manner. These are all things which will be changed forever, and already has been changed forever by the presence of generative AI. As an example, if a doctor needs to give a report, he just needs to put 3-4 points. The whole report will be generated in a manner which a normal person can understand, in a print which is legible, and the medical advice is clear, and the medicines are outlined, the side effects, if any, are outlined. So it is much more comprehensive, which a doctor can never find the time to do. So in each one of these areas, the human input will still be there. Experience will matter. But what will go away are the rote aspects of any job, and the ability to use the experience and knowledge to do prompt engineering, as they call it, but produce output which is understandable by the layperson to that field.
Even we have seen that the robotics has been introduced in schools itself as a small kit. Okay, that has even it is approved by CBSE and other boards also. So how you see that when can we can see that the generative AI will be introduced as a syllabus will be included in a syllabus for betterment and to make them as more smart?
Yeah. See, I can give you a personal view. Things like generative AI are like calculators. So calculators have not been allowed in primary education all the way through 12th grade, probably even now, because you need to learn how to do the math. Then you can appreciate what the calculator is doing. So similarly, generative AI should be allowed after the time when our students have learned how to do it the fundamental way, the basic way, and using principles of science, principles of art, principles of creativity with their hands, with their minds. That is the way to do it.
How you look at the time with the smart employees? Okay, means what they need to really do, what they need to really work on them. Okay, so that their jobs will be pretty much secured.
So I would say that curiosity, learning, the need to go close to data. So data is going to be very critical, whether it is AI or generative AI. The ability to understand data. So I've seen people put in data and get output which is rubbish, because when you do not understand what you're putting in, when you do not have the domain knowledge to stop and pause and think about what is the input, you will not be able to produce any output which is meaningful. So I think the only thing which will happen is people with expertise and people with experience will become more valuable, not less valuable.
So when you talk about the data, so I will not miss the chance to take your inputs on DPDP Act. How you see that, and what's going to change?
Yeah, no, I think GDPR or the Indian laws around data privacy, and ensuring that we are thinking about the rights of our citizens while we are creating an economic impact. Uh, they can take on various flavors. For example, in Japan, they decided that any input to large language models or generative AI models which use images are not under the purview of copyright. So if you have access to that image, you can use it as an input to your model building. And that will enable that country in their view to take a leadership role, because they can create models which are very powerful. So India also needs to take a stance on what it would like to see. One is the fact that we have significant number of people still under the line of poverty. So is for them data privacy important or data monetization important? What is the model which will take care of both for that population? As an example, I can put a wearable on an individual and pay the individual on a daily basis as long as he is wearing that wearable, because I'm generating data. And for that person, he can continue doing other jobs also. He can take care of his family. He can cater to one child's education just by putting on a wearable. And the law should facilitate this, and it should also make sure that the individual is not being taken advantage of. So that's how it should go.
Uh, so, many of the times we know that our phones or the OS system like Android, iOS, they all listen whatever we discuss, whatever we talk, and they give us the results on that. Okay, so how, what do you think that till how, what level it can go, and what has to be done to
Yeah.
taken care of?
See, this whole thinking that a phone is listening to you is only if you allow it. If you have not allowed it, no phone will listen to you, because they have a lot to lose. And most of the phones are made to global standards. So I'm not of the population which believes that everything we speak is being heard.
Yeah.
There is nothing anybody can do. There is how many 9 billion people. What will you do with this kind of data other than take it to latent space? In latent space, when you use it for training, there is nothing which is visible. It is just a latent space of weights which can be used to produce something new. So I wouldn't worry about that as much, because there is sufficient regulation to handle that. I think that as a scientist, as a technologist, as a person who would like to see India and the population reach a level of comfortable living, I think we should be worried about creating jobs. more, and monetizing data more, and ensuring that we are not taking advantage of a set of population, and those laws can be easily put in place.
How you look at the combination of blockchain technology, AI, okay, the complete banking system in India particularly?
These are many things which are hype and
Yeah.
will remain hype for some time. Blockchain is a hype, and blockchain is useful in certain areas. It is useful when the quantum of a transaction is high, or the commodity being transacted, the value is high, and can justify the complexity of the transaction, because a blockchain transaction is expensive. The way to do a blockchain transaction requires hashing and requires compute power, which is very expensive. So
A very big hardware requirement is there
exactly,
for any kind of blockchain,
exactly.
even that is a very huge expensive, and only for particular transactions. I think that we are doing now also. So, what makes a difference with both of this?
Yeah. So if you're trading in diamonds, please use blockchain to trace the path the diamond took before it made its way to your finger.
Mhm.
Because if you're wanting to make sure it's not a blood diamond, which is created using labor which is not sanctioned,
Yeah.
then you want to use something like a blockchain to trace its movement, right? But if you're doing, let's say, uh, trading in vegetables, obviously you don't want to use blockchain
Yeah.
to figure out where your bindi is coming from.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody is wealthy enough as a nation to want to look at that, but I don't think that works long term, because the computation for that will not be justified by the amount you pay for the bindi itself, right? So you need to look at blockchain as where it is applicable. Similarly, quantum compute. Again, if you think about quantum compute as a new way and it will replace all computing, it is false. Quantum compute will be useful when it is successful only in limited areas, and it will do very well in those areas, like cryptography, right? But it is not meant to compute, let's say, averages of scoring in examination. That is not meant. Quantum computing today requires cryogenic temperatures, right? It requires to get the kind of compute that we can do today in regular compute. It takes another 5 to 10 years. I mean, that is the minimum. So there's no point in thinking about quantum compute in a generic sense. Just like you shouldn't be thinking about blockchain in a generic sense. Those are specific applications. But AI is to be thought about in a generic sense. Let's not mix all these together, because AI is a revolution. Everybody has already been touched by AI. If you're using Facebook, your friends' photographs are all
Yes,
labeled
yes.
by AI. It's not being labeled by somebody sitting at the back end. So AI is very different. It's a revolution.
How you see the UPI when it be globalized? Means already PM Modi has introduced UPI in Paris. Okay, so how you see that? What's going to be changed after a few years?
See, India has taken a lead in digital ID and digital economy. I think that's great, and other countries will follow. What we have seen in India is just already miraculous, right? So, UPI is used pretty much everywhere, and by double authentication and so on and so forth, we are well protected also. So, I'm happy that the world will follow us in this area. That's it.
What do you think? What will the US stance on this when suppose in coming years PM Modi will try to introduce it in US? So what do you think? What will be their reaction?
No, you cannot introduce our Aadhaar into any other country, right? What they will look at is their own tech stack, and they will protect their national sovereignty. And even now, US is 10 times the economy of India. So we need to be proud of what we have done, but not overly cocky, because that will only set us back. So let us be humble, take pride in what we have done, and lead the world in one area, but also know that there are many areas where we are followers.
And how you see the competition between the SWIFT and UPI?
That's not an area which I am an expert in. I don't see technically anything as a competition. It is a collaboration together, they will grow together. UPI is a way to look at an individual and provide payment using the authentication, which is part of the India stack, right? So I don't see that competing with anything. I see that enabling everything.
So for the entrepreneurs who are coming up to the with their startups on AI, any message for them?
Those who are building startups in India with AI should be clear that there are many levels you can contribute. Everything is being called AI and it's fair. Technically, it is fair. So you could use tree-based logic, it is AI. You can use query-based approach, it is still AI. Anytime an intelligence is provided, which typically is expected of a human being, but it's provided by a machine, it's AI. But the place where the excitement is in the use of neural networks. It is in the use of deep neural networks. These are also part of the transformer networks which form the large language models and the image-based generative models. This is where the excitement is. So if you're building a startup in AI today, you want to be at the cutting edge of technology. Don't use AI as an excuse or a brand. It will not help you in the long term. So be at the cutting edge, be ambitious on technology while you solve the most important problems for the globe, not just for India.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope this podcast is very much useful for our listeners. And thank you so much for it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.